Alright, what up guys? It's me, GamerGuyTV here. And yeah, welcome. Welcome to another Roblox Studio live stream. Now, Streamlabs might not be super happy with me for some reason. Let me put my computer in CPU intensive mode, and then we can get started. So, performance mode. Okay. So, as hopefully a lot of you guys figured out, we are in a new game, and you can probably tell by the title of this video that yes, we are in a new game. And before I reveal what that game is, I just want to say sorry for the late live stream. I'm only going to be like 45 minutes tonight. We're going to have a quick stream, and that is because the reason I'm so darn late is because we ordered food via Grubhub, and they just got so many orders on like a Friday night that they're just backed up a little bit. So we got our food, we ate, but it took like 3 hours when it should have taken like 2. But that being said, let's reveal what the title of this game is. Are you guys ready? I think you are. And now, the title of the game is Soda Factory Tycoon. That is right, everyone. This is Soda Factory Tycoon. I know that doesn't sound... Sorry, my throat is already slightly congested from talking so much. There we go. Okay, so let's get into some of the stats of this thing. So we are going to have 5 floors. Now this is a Soda Factory Tycoon. We're gonna have 5 floors, and there are going to be, those floors are going to be in no particular order: Sprite, Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, Pepsi, and Coca-Cola. Now, these are the 5 most popular sodas in the world right now. So, yeah. They are the 5 most popular sodas in the world. So, I figured it would be a good idea to have some floors that incorporate sort of like really popular sodas. So the next stat I got for you guys is the 5 classes. So for those of you who watched the last couple episodes of Roblox Studio Speed Build, we had things called classes, like the black class, the white class, and the gray class. Those were different tycoon themes. The really the only difference in this game in the classes is that the classes aren't going to be colors, they're going to be soda brands, and they're going to have colors originated with them. So, yeah, that's kind of the deal with this. So, yeah. This is gonna be a fun one. And I've already done the decals, and I looked up the mesh, off-camera pre-stream, because I wanted to, I don't want to spend half of our stream looking for images and finding the right one to save and stuff like that, finding the right format. No, I want to spend our stream time on stuff that actually matters. And, finding that stuff does matter. And I think you guys know what I mean when I say, finding stuff that actually matters. And what I mean by that is literally the fact of, the stuff that matters in relation to the game and the stuff that we are building is the making of it. It's the making of the Tycoon. It really is. And that is what matters way more than finding the right kind of image for the decal. I would much rather spend a half hour trying to explain to viewers who don't quite get what I'm doing. And then, it's kind of easy to just, take time and explain that. When you're live streaming, you want to take time and explain to your viewers what you're doing. You want to interact with them. Like I gained a subscriber last week from interacting with them. Over the stream chat. So you want to be able to interact with people in this kind of, stream environment. Let's put it that way. But without further ado, let's get into the creation of this Tycoon. So, as I said, I'm not going to keep you guys very long today. And I'm going to try to live stream weekly. It might be a Thursday night, it might be a Friday, it might be a Sunday. But I'm kind of figuring right now that, in a way, the more I live stream, the more I get to interact with you guys, the fans. I get to interact with you guys, and that's part of the reason why I live stream, is, everyone's like, oh, you live stream because, you want to live stream something and you want people's live reactions. No. You do that some of the time. Most of the time, you're live streaming because you want to interact with your fans. You want to be able to have conversations with them. You want to be able to talk intelligently about what you're doing. You want to be able to do that stuff. And, that's part of the reason why I live stream. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the creation of this game. I know you guys don't want to hear me talk for another 35 minutes. So when we go under workspace, the only things we really have are the camera, which is what you see when you play the game, the terrain, which doesn't apply to us, and then the base plate, which is this thing right here. So we aren't going to be dealing with those just yet. For those of you who watched the last game we created, we dealt with the base plate in the last episode. And I know it took over a year for Rainbow Tycoon to be completely finished. I have a bunch of projects within Roblox Studio that I want to do on this channel with you guys, the amazing, amazing viewers. So, I'm looking for this one to not take as long to make. It's only 5 floors instead of 6, and I don't think I'm going to have it be like 16 droppers per floor. What I think I'm going to have is, I think I'm going to have it be, let me try to phrase what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to have it still be like a floor per episode. Um, so, we'll be up to 5 or 6 episodes. Don't get me wrong. It's gonna take a while, and if we feel like it, we might even do 2 floors. But I'm thinking I'm gonna try to focus less on the droppers. I'm gonna make each of them worth more. But at the same time, I'm going to sort of focus more on the interior design of each floor, which should take less time. And it should make for a more engaging experience when the player goes to play the game. So, what I'm doing now is there is a Tycoon kit that I bought. I didn't buy it, it was free. Let's just clear that up. It was free to get. I will try to go back later and put the person's video with the Tycoon kit in the description. But essentially, it is a Tycoon kit. So it shows up as Zednov's Tycoon kit. And what you see on the screen now, like this big, not big, but this thing with all the buttons and stuff. We're gonna play through it so that you guys can see what it is like. But first, we're gonna do the things it tells us to. So it says ungroup it, so we are going to ungroup it. Thumbnail camera, delete. We've got the actual camera, we don't need the thumbnail camera, and if it'll ever let me delete it without renaming it, there we go. So we now have the Tycoon kit, and I'm now going to play it for you guys so that you can see what the base Tycoon is like, and if Roblox Studio decides to respond, we can actually play through it. I'm gonna give it a minute or so. Worst case, I'll just reboot it. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's normal schedule video. I know it wasn't quite the Witness, but I'm still waiting on another game to come out so that we can play it. And I got a game, but it's like 50 gigs. So I want to download that at some point. But it's like an actual PS4 game, which is quite weird. Oh boy. CPU lag. Not frames per second lag, though. We're good there. So, as you guys can see here, we have... This is what the classes are going to look like. Oh, and might I point out the chat box feature? Bear with me. So, I don't know if Streamlabs is... Oh, hey, it is. But there's a chat box in the corner of the game. So if you guys have any messages in the chat that you want to message to me, go ahead. I'll see them. They'll pop up in the chat box. It'll be really cool, and I'll respond to them. But as you can see, when we hit that thing, we join the Fighting Bears class. There's kills, deaths, cash. If we want, we can go and mess around with the leaderboard. But I don't really want to do that right now. Just saying. Oh, and I did take a look at Streamlabs OBS's multi-streaming. And it is currently only Twitch and Facebook, or YouTube and Facebook. So, I do want to, once we get a little bit more popular, I want to try to get a Twitch account so that we can stream to multiple platforms. Um, but for now, we're just gonna stick to YouTube streaming because that's what I know how to do. Um, so as you can see, when we go over here, we get like the generic begin working. And this is a clicker. This is a clicker dropper. And I hate these kinds of droppers. So I never have these in my tycoons because I have too much respect for the people playing the games, and I know that they don't want to sit there and click that 70 times to get 70 bucks. So there are some concepts in this game that I don't incorporate into a lot of my tycoons. One of those concepts is the colorizer and the materializer. A lot of times in, my tycoons, you guys might remember, or Rainbow Tycoon is a great example of this. I had the drops be a certain color, and that was fully intentional. That was the most intentional that you could be. And when you add a colorizer, you take away that ability for you to control what color the drops are and what material it is and stuff like that. And I don't know if I mentioned this already, but in this live stream, we aren't going to go into creating the dropper. We're just going to go into, the basics of the tycoon. We're going to go through some things in terms of, we'll see how much time we have. Let me put it like that. So, also, these are not going to be very big tycoons. Like, the Rainbow Tycoon was a gigantic tycoon. And I don't want to have a tycoon that is absolutely gigantic like that. I am not... Let me put it this way. I enjoy it when the tycoons are sort of small like this. So here's what the colorizer does. If I click on that, that's that, and it changes the drop color. Materializer would be the same thing. I'm not going to save up to buy that because I want to actually get started with our game. So, yeah. So, also let me know if you guys would like me to live stream more often than once a week. I can try to make that work. Bear with me a second. I need to go grab a drink because my throat is getting sore from talking. Alright, guys, I got my drink. We're good. Okay, so, yeah. As I was saying, let me know if you guys would like me to, live stream more often. Because I can most definitely do that. And it can be other things besides Roblox Studio. When we hit 50 subscribers, I was going to start a, Minecraft live stream series. But, maybe I'll start that sooner. Who knows? Honestly, who knows right now? So, let's get into customizing this tycoon a little bit. So, under tycoons, we have the fighting bears. Now, this is the class name. So, we're going to start out with the Coke. class, so Coca-Cola. And mind you, all of the tycoons are going to be the same. Um, some of them might have, slightly different theming. I'm thinking about making the wall color based off of, the color of the class, but so, yeah, so this is now the Coca-Cola. So, team color. So, let's see. I think the Coca-Cola, let me Google the Coke logo. Coca-Cola colors. So, according to Bing search, the generic colors of Coca-Cola are red, black, and white. So we're gonna go with like a maroonish. And now, when we play the game, we should be able to see this, and see Coca-Cola. And, we can do that. So, now we are under the Coca-Cola class instead of the Fighting Bears class. So, that is what that does. And mind you, I save a lot of my games locally onto my computer. And yeah, just so for the record, with the game Replacing the Witness, I had a nice little Sherlock Holmes game set. It was like 6 stories, so we were gonna get like a decent amount of episodes out of it. But then apparently my GPU wasn't strong enough. So I couldn't do that, so I had to scramble for something. And I found a game, but it's like 50 gigs, and I didn't want to stress my computer while I was taking school. So that'll probably be coming within the coming weeks. So yeah. Also, if you're watching this and aren't subscribed, you might want to subscribe. I post content like this almost daily. Not almost daily, always daily. Well, not always daily, but more recently than not, daily. So anyway, for the material value, this hooks up with the materializer. So we can go ahead and get rid of that. Oh boy, hang on a second. My computer was not happy with me there. So drop color. So this one is one I've debated leaving in. So the way the colorizer works, and here, let me, we can get rid of the Div Products button, and we can get rid of the, what are essentials? Oh yeah, definitely need those. Let me take you inside of the colorizer. So colorizer, script. So this is saying that the drop, so, I take a lot of programming. I was one of the programming experts on my FLL team for 4 years. And when I joined FTC, about halfway into the season, I was made programming team leader. So I know a lot about programming, and let me tell you, this is one of the worst languages that I have dealt with. The language isn't bad. It is a fundamental scripting language, but it's its own language. When you go into things like Unity and Android Studio, you have the option of using languages like Java and Kotlin, and Python, and JavaScript, which is web-based. With this is the only option you have, and this is an object-oriented language, so is Java. I don't think Python is. But my point there, essentially, is I can walk you through what this is doing. So, this is script.parent.buttons, so get, and then get children. And it says do v.clickDetector. So when you go in, there's a click detector. So, saying on click detector.mouse click connect function, and this is the function. So it is saying script.parent, so script.parent.parent, so that's going into the class once again. Drop color, right here, value is equal to v.brickcolor. So that's not the way that I would have done that. What I would have done is I would have put a script in each individual block that says on click detector, motion click, script.parent.parent.parent.dropColor.value is equal to script.parent.brickcolor. This is not the way that I would have done it. It is the correct way to do it. But it is not the way that I would have done it. Let's be clear there. And you know what? The person that did this is much more experienced in this language than I am. And you know what? I am perfectly fine with that. You know, I don't need to be the most experienced at everything. You know, I've developed apps in Android Studio that'll score a sport. It hasn't been used, but I did it for fun. I've been trying to develop a game in Android Studio for the past, month. And I've been trying to do various different photo gallery stuff. You know, I haven't been trying to do everything in the perfect fashion here. So, yeah. Once again, I don't do these things in the most efficient ways. And I don't do them in Android Studio in the most efficient ways either. But you know what? Everyone has their style, and yes, there's a correct way to do it. And you should use that correct way, but in the end, everyone has their style of coding. It is slightly different. Hey, given this talk, it's good practice for my robotics practice in a couple weeks, where we might be holding it virtually and trying to do a programming thing. But that is what goes on inside of the colorizer. So my point was, keeping the drop color might not be such a bad thing. Because I believe when we go into purchases, and dropper 1, dropper script, part.brickcolor is still the drop color. So, you know, I think that might be a good thing because it gives us a value here, and it gives us more options than the generic color.blank would. So I think I'm going to keep this, and we're just going to have a bunch of different drop color variables. Now, for those of you watching who have not seen this series before, we develop in one Tycoon, and then go around and change the class titles and stuff like that. So, Soda Factory Tycoons definitely have been done before. I am not the first to do this kind of thing. I'm sorry if you thought I was. I'm glad if you thought I was, but I am certainly not the first to do this kind of tycoon. And I know that. And I also know that many people are going to say I'm stealing an idea. And I'm not. I had this idea as a, product factory tycoon. That's what most tycoons are. And yeah. I'm 14. I'm discovering sodas. It fits. And here, let me read you guys off some of my other game ideas. So, theme park tycoon, Twitter tycoon, social media tycoon, customizable town, making like a city. Stuff like that. The simple stuff. And I know they've been done before. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with them being done before. Not a lot of people play my games. I don't really care if it's been done before. But, so when we start making the individual droppers next week, we're gonna start with, we are definitely going to start with something around, changing the drop colors. And I actually have something that I want to work into the game. So, for those of you who remember from the previous episodes of Rainbow Tycoon and Rainbow Tycoon, I have a decal on the back of the dropper that tells the player how much each dropper is worth. So, that being said, I want to have a drop value thing. I really do. Because we can add that as the drop value here. And then, when we go to put the decal on, we can just have the text be the drop value. So, that's my goal. I'm going to take out the part.material because that does not exist anymore. We're going to keep the brick color. So, you know what? Let's do this. We are working with dropper 1. Let's take out dropper 2. Let's take out colorizer. Let's take out materializer. Let's take out mega dropper. Let's take out mine. Let's get rid of the upgrader. So that should take us to around, yep, that looks right. So, yes, that looks about right for what we are left with. Now, this is not a bad thing. We will expand on this, and I'm looking to keep the Tycoon around this size, maybe change around the layout of it a bit, definitely have an owner-only door. So let me walk you guys through the way the buttons work, and I'm going to walk you guys through this every episode, because this is one of the most fundamental parts about creating a Tycoon, is understanding the way each of these parts work. So, begin working. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of dependency. Object dropper 1. Buy dropper 2. We can get rid of that. Colorizer, done. Materials, done. Mega dropper, done. Upgrader, done. All gone. Sorry, that sounded a bit harsh. My apologies. So, now when we zoom in, we see dropper 1. So today we are going to start experimenting. And you know what? Maybe we'll create one dropper so that I have an idea of what I want it to look like in my head. Maybe we'll create a dropper so that we can implement that now while I have that idea in my head. It's 9:22. What's another 20 minutes gonna hurt? My throat. Sorry, after I drink, my throat gets slightly, filmy. That's the word I've been looking for. So, let's play this. Touch to claim. Buy dropper 1. Why is it not letting us buy it? Object. Price. Oh, that's why. Price, 0. Unless we want to give out 70 starting cash. So, I know a lot of you guys out there are probably asking, like, why am I not incorporating, like, weapons and stuff into the plan? You know, I'm not really going for that. I know that might sound kinda crazy, but I'm not really going for the, I'm not really going for, like, the weapons and morphs and stuff like that. What I'm really going for is the, actual gameplay of it. And I know weapons makes kind of like a fun thing. And I'm thinking about, like, adding a playground or something in to the scenery. So, Park Tycoon, which was literally the first game I did on this series about 1.5 years ago, was, it had a playground to it. And I'm still looking to do that. Okay, so those are going up in increments of 5. That's the way I intend to keep this. So, let's fix this now. Drop color Coke. Okay, cool. So let's test this. So one of the things about game developing is an unreasonable amount of testing. So one of the things I've learned through doing a bunch of programming for my robotics team in Android Studio, and even in the Blocks program when we used it, is you never change more than one thing before testing. So the reason why you do that is because if something happens, like if something goes wrong, you don't know which thing it is. And when you're creating a game, you never create everything at once and then test it. You create one thing and test it and make sure it's the way you want it. Then you create another thing and make sure that thing is the way you want it, and both things continue to be the way you want them. That's the process of going through and making a game. For those of you who watched the Rainbow Tycoon, I mentioned the process a lot. And that is what I'm talking about. The individual process of creating a game. So we should be able to do that and have it switch soon. Maybe it's when it initiates. I don't know. Let's take it into a bright bluish and test that. Make sure it works. It worked with the mid-gray, but it also could have been just defaulting to that. And I'm not worried about the button. Oh, it works. So, part of the benefit to this is the droppers will have it in their scripts to, set the drop color to whatever variable we tell it to set to. And that is part of what I love about the concept of having these drop colors, is the fact that, yes, there might be plenty of drop colors throughout this entire thing. But they will always work, and when you want to edit them, you don't have to go into 15 different droppers and edit each individual color with the same color. You just change the variable there, and the color fixes itself. So now let's test the drop value. So, right, they changed around the way you do this. Let's see. Okay, yep. Knew that was coming. Number variable. Okay. So, drop value Coke. So, this is now 5, and we have the dropper script open. So, we're going to get rid of this comment here. We're going to go script.parent. Wait for my computer. Parent drop value Coke.value. And now we're going to check and see if that worked. Because if that worked, then we can try to customize the dropper in the way we want to. And the first floor is going to be Coca-Cola. The second floor, I don't know. Yep, that works. Okay. So, what that tells us is that we can do that for each individual floor. We will have 2 variables per floor, so that is 10 variables altogether. And that allows us to, change the drop color from just going into the individual class and not going into purchases and all that stuff. And also change the drop value of each floor through the class once again. So what this is doing is, this is sort of a way of making the work easier for us. That way, if we decide that, things are too expensive, we need to bring it down, the price is in the buttons. But, you know, we could always increase that very easy to make it be not so much of an increase that way. Um, so, I'm not gonna start messing around with the leaderboard until later. But, to see there's core handler. I'm not going to mess around with that. There's dev product handler, and then there is link leaderboard. So, this is a lot of the leaderboard stuff, and we're not going to go into that because, quite frankly, I do not understand what that is. So, without further ado, let's go into customizing the dropper. So, this is not a bad layout of the Tycoon in general. For those who have seen this series before, I generally like to rearrange the layout, but I think I might actually keep this. And, yeah. I think I'm actually going to keep a lot of the default, looks and stuff. I wasn't really a fan of the looks of the droppers in the in the Rainbow Tycoon. So I think we're gonna keep this as just like the normal, regular, way the default kit tells me to. I am going to make some color changes, and I am going to make, first of all, I'm gonna make this Coke Dropper 1. So, sorry to sneeze into the mic, but so this Tycoon kit is very specific about naming. So you cannot have a space in the name, which means camel case is generally the way to go. So camel case is when the first letter of every word is uppercase. So, now we can go into the dropper script and edit some stuff. So, this is the very first floor. That was bizarre. Sorry if the stream just blipped out. I have no idea why, but yep, I see it in the log. Okay, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. As I was saying, we can start editing stuff in here. So, I'm actually curious of something. Like, settings. Scroll up. So, do I or do I not? So, I'm just gonna comment this out. And we're gonna try that and see what happens. So, in programming, commenting stuff out is one of the best ways to try things. Oh, hey, look at that. right? The dropper is there because I didn't change the name in the button, but that is fine. So what that means is that we can get rid of that, and we can get rid of wipeouts. And only have it be cash on the leaderboard. Now, later on, we can try to have this be something like floors. We can try to add stuff to the leaderboard like floors bought. And stuff like that. But for now, I think we should just stick to this. So anyway, let's go back to editing the dropper. Man, we're dropping frames all over the place. Sorry, it's just a personal note to self. So, I don't want to mess with this. Yeah, I'm not messing around with that leaderboard thing yet. So, we are going to add a piece to the dropper base. Why are we dropping frames? That's not good. For now, we're going to have to turn collisions on. Scale this down to size. Move collisions. Bam. So that puts it basically right on top. Get rid of that. Add decal. So this is the Coca-Cola thing. Oh man, okay. So, Coke can. And what this is going to do is this is going to let our players know what tycoon they are, not what tycoon, what dropper they just bought. Sorry, I clicked one too many times and lag spike in 3, 2, 1. Oh, we had 2 viewers for a second. Having 2 viewers is nice. Not that having 1 is bad, but having 2 is nice. So I'm actually going to rotate this. Because voila, now it is within the roof height. So, and yes, we are going to modify the walls. I am planning to do that in this stream. This is taking a lot longer than I wanted, but that happens. So, the main Coke color, as we figured out earlier, is like a red, brown, is like a maroonish. So, we're just going to make all of these maroon. We're going to make these like maroons. Here, maybe make it a lighter color. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so there's our Coke dropper. Now, I know for a fact that that is not very original. So, for the record, this is what I mean about, the Words. Words are good. About the GUIs with the text. So let's add a text component to this. Back. Okay. There we go. Position. Scale. There we go. Actually, that works like perfectly. Okay, so there are a couple things that we need to do here. So text label, that's fine. Text scaled to fit, yes. Let's see. Where's the background? Background transparency 1. You can see how that is slightly hard to read. So when we go text color, let's pick white. That makes it easier to see. Now let's, oh my goodness. I forget they made it like that. Let's insert script. So all we're going to do is script.parent.text is equal to, we might need a string for this. Script.parent.parent This is going to be a lot of script.parents. Parents. You know what? Yeah. So script.parent.parent.parent.parent dot drop value Coke dot value. So let's try that. So this thing is still gonna show up literally as soon as we show up, but hey, it worked. So that shows you how many coins, not coins, but that shows you how much each dropper is worth. Now, we'll probably end up taking this up to like 10. But yeah, so with us having done that, I think I am going to officially end off the stream. All I can say is that this is going to be an incredibly fun game. Oh, and let's fix the button. So we're looking at around 4-ish. We're looking at about 4-ish droppers per floor. So in the next video, we should be able to, or in the next episode, we should be able to hook those up and ideally start doing some of the theming of the first floor. We should be able to hook the walls up and maybe even get started on some of the second floors. So while I fix the buttons, I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. Let's double check that that works. I just want to thank you guys for watching this live stream, sticking with me through it all the way through, because I know it was a much longer live stream than I anticipated, and I know it was very, very late, and I'm sorry for that. But thank you guys, truly. Thank you guys for watching. Let's fix our drop colors. You know what? I'll do a couple things while we outro the video. So what I just did was I just made that the starting dropper so that when people come into the Tycoon, they know it is free. So in the next video, or in the next episode, I don't know why I keep saying video, which, for the record, will most likely be next Friday night. It might be next Thursday, but it's probably going to be next Friday evening. We will probably end up doing some theming on the conveyor, on the floor, you know, putting window theming in, stuff like that. And like I said, I want to focus on the theming of this Tycoon more than the amount of floors and the amount of droppers and stuff. I think the ones in the last Tycoon were a bit much. It took me almost 3 hours to fully test it. And I had to end the stream halfway through that. So, anyway, once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. And I hope to see you guys in the next one.